Hello and welcome to Laytechs Weekly, episode 19th May 2021. Laytechs Weekly is brought to you by Laytechs, your protection from tech ignorance. My name is Sean. News of the week, where we're dedicating a lot of this week's news to Google I.O. because Google I.O. just happened yesterday night in our time. Google I.O. 2021 announcements. Google just had their annual I.O. event last night, and this year they did not invite any external developers nor journalists because of COVID. There are some things that were announced in the video. The first thing is Android 12. It will be called Material U. U as in not the alphabet U, but U as in you and me U. It is to reflect a higher level of customization. They overhauled the designs with larger icons and buttons, so you get, I think the best way to explain it is you get icons and buttons that look like iOS. It's a curve square and curve rectangles. There will be animation improvements, which is powered by software instead of hardware. So which means that whether you are using the cheapest Android device to the most expensive one, the animation will be consistent. The color scheme. So this is where it is U. The U part comes in, right? You set a wallpaper and you are given the option to, this Android 12 will actually pick the top 4 colors, let's say, and you can switch your entire phone's color scheme to match your wallpaper. And every time you switch, you have the opportunity to do that as well. And even if you don't want to do that, you can actually customize. You can choose your own colors and do whatever you want with it. So there is a lot more customization instead of colors. They will be also making some improvements on the widgets as well. The widgets will finally look nicer, possibly, because there are a lot of developers that may or may not jump into this, but we hope that all the major developers will, because Android widgets are so old, they are so dated, they're so ugly, and nobody uses them anymore. And just when iOS suddenly rolls out the widget, Android says, oh, you know what, let's refresh our widgets. So yeah, here comes the new set of widgets. There will be kill switches for cameras and mics as well. So there are actually software kill switches. So even if you turn it on, you can just hit the button and it will override all the commands for all the apps and turn off your camera and mic if you so choose. There will be better privacy management on all apps as well. There will also be software-powered privacy core that stores all private data separately from other parts. And it is an open source architecture for all the developers to actually go in and inspect. So this is a different thing where Samsung and Apple are using separate chips to house all the private data. Google is using a software that is actually separated from other parts of the phone's software, because they can't mandate all phone users to install an additional chip for security. So the best way for them to do that is to apply the software, downloadable software that has this kind of like a virtual or like a ephemeral separate chip for it, which works well because where Apple controls the hardware and only sells the most expensive stuff, Google has to figure out how to roll out these kinds of security and everything for everybody, for all the masses, the 99.95% of the world population. So this is where it is a struggle for them. And they have come up with this method. And Android 12 will come to Pixel devices in Q3 of this year. As for other Android devices, well, you know the drill. Samsung will probably roll it out next year, and some phones may probably not have it at all. So yeah, therein lies the problem. You can talk about Android 12 all you want, most of the people won't get it. The next one is Lambda. Lambda is actually a machine learning AI which will eventually be adopted into all conversational smart devices like Google Assistants. In this demo, Lambda was able to carry a sensible conversation by pretending to be the dwarf planet Pluto using information on the subject. So it's not giving information, it is actually having conversation, and it pretended to be the planet, that subject itself, and being that when someone asks the question about the planet, as in me, let's say I'm Lambda, if you ask me a question and I will answer as if I am the planet, and this is me, and I'm telling you my information. So it's very conversational, it's very next level AI stuff, and Google is hoping this will bring Google Assistant up to the next level. Project Starline is Google's AI and computational camera powers to create a 3D version of a person on the other side of a video call. So when you have a video call with someone, what you see now is very flat. But what Google's Starline project tries to do is try to form a more 3D version of that person, which brings them a little closer to being a real person than what we are having today. But not as good as being with a real person, like, you know, in person, but still better than that very flat thing we are having to contend with. They are also rolling out a very inclusive camera software, which are work better with darker skinned people. They will be improving the software exposure, color system, so that when you take photos and videos of people of darker skin, they're able to show a lot more details than what a lot of cameras are doing right now. There will also be digital car keys, which will be available on Pixel and selected Samsung devices, where users can unlock and start their cars with NFC keys on their devices. They are currently working with BMW, and hopefully other makers will also come up. They will also start working with other makers as well. Their Wear OS, they're finally partnering with Samsung's Tizen. So it's merging with Tizen to become just Wear. This will see improvements in performance, battery life, and better community of devices and users. Historically, Samsung's Tizen Samsung have been way better at building their watches than Google can. Google Wear OS is very laggy after a while. They can't cope with a lot of things, and they have been struggling with the Wear OS. So working together with Samsung's Tizen, they are able to improve speed and all that kind of stuff and bring far more superior watches to the Android world. They also will have this thing where they use the camera to identify skin conditions. It is quite scary because when you go online and find out what is the cause of a cough that you're having, then you'll be told that you have stage 4 cancer, which is the reason why doctors tell you not to self-diagnose online. Google will soon let us find out what our skin problem is using our camera and their vast repository of data in their servers. We just hope that it's accurate. Apple Music announces lossless music, but you can't hear it in any Apple AirPods or HomePods. Following Tidal's move, Apple will be rolling out access to lossless versions of all their tracks on Apple Music. Most importantly, this will come at no additional cost, making it a way cheaper alternative to Tidal. 1990 Malaysian ringgit a month, you get Apple One, which includes Apple Music. I hope also all their collection of lossless music as well. As compared to Tidal, just the music itself is about 50-60 ringgit. Yeah. The software is ready, but Apple's hardware are not. At the moment, none of their AirPods and HomePods can support the lossless format. Well, it will still be very, very good compared to normal formats, but purists will still be able to nitpick all their flaws and everything easily. So the problem lies in two parts, right? The first one is that it's Bluetooth, and Bluetooth it's not the best carrier for music quality. That we have to thank Apple for that, right? For eliminating earphone jacks from all our mobile devices in the first place. So now they have to deal with how they're gonna carry the lossless audio. Even with the bloody expensive AirPods Max with its cable, it can't provide a full lossless audio because there needs to be analog to digital conversion in the process, which from my ears, I believe I will not be able to tell the difference, but audiophiles will be able to tell the difference. Yeah. So because of this conversion, it's not technically lossless. Perhaps Apple will come up with a Sony LDAC equivalent lossless codec, or perhaps they will make AirPods carry over Wi-Fi instead of Bluetooth for better quality in the near future. All we know is the best way to enjoy Apple Music lossless right now is probably on an Android device with a 3.5mm jack connected to a pair of Sony XM4s. China lands on Mars. China landed a rover on the surface of Mars last Friday, officially the second country to successfully execute this feat. Technically, the Soviet Union landed on Mars in 1971, but they lost control and feed after 20 seconds. So, yeah, they touched down, but then they lost everything after that. So, officially, they did not land on Mars. The rover will be studying the climate and geology of the red planet. So, there are a lot of people who are questioning the need for space exploration while the world is going through so much trouble, and that we should actually use the money and everything to focus on more immediate problems instead. But where I stand is that science and technology required to perform such feats will trickle down towards the advancement of our world in many ways. Many technologies we are so accustomed to today have been created for the moon landing by NASA in 1969. So some of them include camera phones, the CAT scan, athletic shoes, LED lights, wireless headsets, water purifiers, laptops, the computer mouse, and more. Everything we're using today trickled down from the NASA moon landing in 1969. So by pushing forward for space exploration, we will inevitably advance our technology and have all these newfound technologies to solve the world's problems at the same time. And when we can't find solutions within the world to solve our world's problems, maybe finding it from outside, let's say collecting a geology sample or something, or finding out a new metal or a new compound or a new bacteria that eats plastics and everything without eating us instead, along the way. So these are the ways that space exploration can help the world advance. The other way technology advances is actually through war, and we all know what we don't want. So instead of what we don't want, let's support space exploration. That's all for this week's Laytechs Weekly. Laytechs Weekly is available on Anchor FM, Overcast, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, and more. Our full videos are available on YouTube, and I post bits and clips on Instagram and Facebook. This is Laytechs Weekly, episode 19th May 2021. My name is Sean. See you next week. Stay safe. Au revoir.